What's up, all you cool cats and kittens? The fellas are back again. We're up in the internet. We're up in the fiber optics doing this podcasting thing. It's StickinRink, better known as StickinRink Podcast. It's episode 40. We've got an absolute bomber of a guest today, an absolute gem of a man. We've also got an absolute sexy. Fuck off.
No, you're good.
Fuck off already, dude. Dude, that's bullshit. I think that happened last time.
I feel like you timed out. Where's Elijah?
No.
I bet you timed out, you idiot.
No,
You're looking pretty good.
Yeah,
Thanks.
we're all good.
I was literally on a roll. I had a great line coming up. We've got an absolute sexy sponsor, sexiest sponsor, may I add you, in DraftKings, the presenting sponsor of StickinRink Podcast, especially episode 40. DraftKings, you can use our promo code THPN at sign up. Gets you a free $5 entry with your minimum $5 deposit. So that's at sign up. Please use our promo code. Help the boys out. Help DraftKings out. Because you got guys like me who you can take advantage of. I'm constantly up in the head-to-head battles. So if you're looking for free money, DraftKings gives you a little bit with our promo code sign up. But I also just donate to the cause in tons of NHL head-to-head matchups and what I like to call UFC bets. Now, I held my word. I made my UFC lineup for this last weekend for UFC 261. Zach, was it 261?
I believe so, yeah.
Dude, what do we get? They eventually got to do something like Xbox does or the iPhone does, where they just like throw you for a loop and they throw in a letter instead of a number. It's just getting ridiculous for me. But back to the lineup. So thankfully, I did not have Chris Weidman's right leg on my lineup. I skipped out on that one, but I did have my girl. What's the name? Wei Lee. Now Wei Lee got a good old stiff foot in the face, so that fucked my team up right there. And then I also had James Franco from the Spring Breakers on my team, otherwise known as Jorge Masvidal. Now, he took about as stiff as a right fist as you can take in the face as well. So it's safe to say my DraftKings team sucked ass this weekend. But there was someone out there who put the right lineup together and they won $75,000. So kudos to that person. Once again, if you want to get on the action, every UFC event, every hockey game, tons of opportunity, promo code THPN at sign up. I'm starting to see the one bar connection in my corner right when I'm ad reading. That's fucking scary. But guys, we got viewers. We're going viral right now, and it's for a good reason because we got our friend Zach on the podcast, fully known as Zachary Lucas. We're going to get to the whole two first name thing later. But Zach, you are known as my betting expert, my stock expert, basically anything that comes with making me rich one day, you are my expert. So thank you for coming on the show, sharing your wisdom. It's good to have you.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. And, I've told you for the longest time about Penn and a couple other stocks. So I was trying to make you money, and hopefully you listened.
Yeah, I definitely got in, and the plane's going down. Let's just say that. The market is going down in a sharp nosedive, but I'm okay. I like where I'm at. I like my average prices. I'm starting to use.
You're all about buying high, selling low. Is that your strategy?
I'm hoping high. I'll ride it into the ground if I have to. I think that's the vibe I'm getting with it. But fellas, you guys don't know Zach very well, but he's about to you're about to learn today, is what I would say. We're going to talk a ton of betting. We're kind of going to give our listeners a good view into the landscape of what gambling is becoming and sports gambling in Canada and North America. Because shit's been changing for 3 years now. And in Canada, it's about to change a whole hell of a lot more. To start off the show, we do have to mention my mom is watching. She says, hi, Zachary. So she will be filtering through all of our comments. And as I've learned through that. But
my
Zach,
mom
why don't
is
you go
also
ahead?
watching here.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
If Zach's mom, if you're out there, please interact with my mom on the Facebook chat. That would be probably the most hilarious thing we've ever seen. But Zach, why don't you just go ahead and just tell the listeners and tell Josh and Ralph what you do and what kind of your scene is in the sports gambling world.
Yeah. So, first off, thanks for having me on. And so a big part of what I do, my official title is trading analyst for Twin Spire Sportsbook. So the main thing I do is really player profile. So we want to know what our players are betting, how they're betting, where they're betting, when they're betting, state by state, reviewing limits. So for example, for UFC 261, we're going to take big limits on the main event, but we're not going to take as bigger limits on the smaller card. And, we'll see who's max betting a certain side, who's winning, who's losing. Players who are losing, we're going to give them bonuses. We're going to send them out emails and tell them, hey, keep betting with us. We'll give you a percentage of your losses back. And as someone who's winning, well, we're going to review your limits and see if it's good action that we want to take. And then a lot of the other stuff is making sure that we have the right betting markets on our website. So, DraftKings, for example, they're a competitor of ours. Glad that you guys have them as a sponsor. So we look at them and say, hey, they have 200 betting markets on a baseball game. We need to match that, because if we don't, what's the point of betting with us? We're don't sign up. Just go bet with DraftKings, go bet with FanDuel. So big part of what I do is make sure that we're competitive and we're offering everything that we can.
Hell yeah,
Love
dude.
that.
So what you're telling me is that all these kind of codes that I'm getting and all these discounts and all these free bets, that's a good thing. That's not because I'm a whale, or it is because I'm a whale.
Well, no, you're definitely not a whale. So, every sports book right now, especially in the States, they're vying for users. So they're spending like crazy. You look at DraftKings, for example, they spent $500 million last year on marketing alone. They aren't a profitable business right now because all they do is spend. So all these codes you see, all these different promos from everyone, they're trying to get your business. Yeah. Exactly. THPN, they're looking to get your business. Whether you're betting $1 or you're betting $10,000, they want you. That's it. Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And then I guess eventually over time you just build that loyalty, and it's like you proceed to just stick with DraftKings as opposed to going to somebody else.
Yeah. So, some companies do a different way. Barstool, Dave Portnoy, obviously everyone knows him. They're going a different way. They're not going to spend as much money marketing because they have bloggers. They have, a big social media presence. They don't need to spend the money like DraftKings does. However, DraftKings can't keep spending $500 million every year. Eventually, the ATM is going to run dry. And then that's when Barstool comes in and, BetMGM and PointsBet. That's when they start kind of taking some of those users back because those promos are going to dry up eventually.
So do you think it kind of just boils down to it just being a giant, for lack of a better term, like pissing contest as to who has more money than the other and just who can outlast who in this kind of market?
Oh, 100%. The market's, it's only getting started. PASPA, which was the big bill in 2018, 27 states have been legalized since then. So, we're only getting started. We have another dozen states on the horizon in 2021 and 2022. So it's really DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM. They're on the top of the mountain. They're going to outspend everyone. A company like ours, Twin Spires, we're not really spending as much. We're going to go a different route. We're going through the horse racing route. We're a big name in horse racing. We got the Kentucky Derby next week. So we're going to be pushing out a lot of promos around that. But yeah, we'll never outspend DraftKings, and we'll see what happens at the end. They're going to run out of money eventually.
Fair, true. They're going to get a little too greedy.
Zach, I have a question here for you. So when you say, like, obviously your company is big into horse racing, my question is, are you personally big into horse racing? Like, are you the guy like watching the TV, slapping his ass with the paper, like as you're waiting for your horse to cross the finish line?
I used to be. I used to go to River Rock when I was 19 and 20, and they had a small little race book at the top of the casino. I think it was on the second floor, and I was the youngest one there by about 30 years. And I would always go, and I would be yelling at the TV. I was betting $2 a race. I wasn't winning any money.
Yeah.
But I was passionate about it, and I loved it. And I've been betting on sports and horses since I was 16, and I had a fake ID. And my parents are watching; they don't know this, but I did have a fake ID, and I would go and bet, and it was fun. So yeah, no, I love what I do. It's doesn't feel like a job to me. It's really just a passion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have to ask as well, is there kind of one bet that you like, one crazy bet that you have money on this year, like where you're like, fuck it, I'll just bet $10 and see if it pays out?
I can't remember the last time I only bet $10 on something. Usually I usually bet bigger. When I started out, I was betting a bit smaller. The one bet that comes to mind, I think, my entire life, was actually horse racing. I did a parlay with, I think, the Houston Rockets to beat the Golden State Warriors a couple years ago when Durant was on the team. And then I took a horse called Maximum Security, which won the race. However, it was disqualified, and it was the first horse ever in the history of the Derby to get disqualified. And I think it was like a $50 parlay to win $5,500. And I was at the Hastings racetrack, and the bet went through because they said it was a winner. So I had $5,500 in my account. I'm laughing, I'm drinking, I'm popping bottles. And then 20 minutes later, the bet's canceled. However, I placed that $5,500 on a different bet. So the sportsbook had to actually honor the $5,500.
Let's go.
That's massive.
That's huge.
And then the bet won, and then I had like 9,000, and then I just cashed it out. So that was great.
Huge. Holy hell.
See, Now, I want to challenge you guys here. There is a moral to this story. Can anyone tell me what it is?
Don't be a pussy, bet big.
Gambling's dangerous.
Close. It's pretty close. But anytime that you win a bet and you're about to bet it again and someone says, no, dude, just walk out like you got enough. Hell no, dude. If your gut says bet the money, you bet the money. Now, that doesn't always work out for me, but I like that it worked out for you there.
I mean, I would never advise to do parlays. I know, Elijah, you love your parlays.
Every
It
time
is-
I show him parlays, he's like, you understand that's how Sportsbook makes their money, right? And I'm like,
it is a big sucker bet. I mean, your 5-team NHL money line parlays. You do a 5-team parlay, that's a 35% house edge. So for every $100 you're betting, we're going to win $35. So over time, you're just going to end up losing because the house edge is too high.
Yeah.
But I always tell people, if you want to bet a parlay, do it for fun. Don't do it to make money. Anyone who tells you they make money betting parlays, they are a liar. That is 100%
yes.
fact.
I hope our Snapchat groups watch this because we've got a couple degenerate parlay bettors in there. And I'm looking at you, Luke. You post the wins, Luke. I need to see the losses more often. Okay.
They never post the losses.
No, that's the hard
nobody
thing
ever
as a
does.
gambler. If you can do that, you've made it as a gambler. Now I'm looking at the Kentucky Derby board right now. And all I typed in was just like Kentucky Derby favorites or just odds. Is the highest it goes 50-1 for a horse?
No, I don't believe so. I think we've had a few 100-er ones. I can't tell you 100% sure. But yeah, I think I've seen a few 100-er ones.
Okay, I'm looking at Hidden Stash right there, 50-1. That's a nice little bet. That's a nice little pick in there. There's some hidden gems for sure.
So regarding the Kentucky Derby, most people, when you ask them, what's your dream sporting event to go to, like Stanley Cup Final, Super Bowl, World Series, Olympic gold medal game, is yours the Kentucky Derby? Like, would you just be going nuts or what?
I would love to go. It's definitely on the bucket list. I've been to a Stanley Cup game. Went to the Canucks Bruins game 5, I think it was. So that was also on the bucket list. We won 1-0. Malongo shutout. Great game.
Huge.
So yeah, Kentucky Derby's up there. I think a Final Four, March Madness. I've been to the Elite Eight, but I haven't been to a Final Four. But yeah, Derby for sure. I was, supposed to go, I would say, but obviously COVID hit and the borders are closed. But next year for sure, I'll be down there.
Love that.
I feel like we're pegging you as a giant like horse racing kind of guy here. Are there any other sports that you're just incredibly into, or are we just like?
I mean, I love tennis, baseball. I mean, I love all sports, to be honest. I mean, I love betting tennis and playing tennis. But honestly, you could pick a sport, and I could probably talk for a few hours about it. So it's my job to know everything. So that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, makes it more natural. Okay.
What's I feel like college football is your biggest sport, no? Like fandom wise?
Betting wise, it's NFL for sure.
Okay, yeah, betting wise, yeah.
The thing with college football is there's more teams, more games. NFL, you obviously only have like 32 teams, but NFL by far, then college football, and then I would say probably basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
nice.
interesting. So college football, for all the sports bettors out there, do you always hit the over? You always hammer the over in college football. You have to. Like there's when Alabama's kicking the
88.5
team. Yeah, 88.5. Take the over.
Yeah, overs are very popular. I mean, you can go to any sport. The general trends are people love betting the favorites and they love betting the overs. And it's not just college football. It's anything. It's people want to root for a high-scoring team and a high-scoring game. They don't want to root for a boring game. I love that. I love betting unders. I will root for a 0-0 draw. I will, 10-7 final in a football game. I don't care. I love the unders.
Okay, I like that.
That's the Patriot way. We're gonna get into some Patriot talk later on. I want to jump into this landscape thing I was talking about because I sent some readings to Ralph and Josh. I know they didn't read them. That's okay. We're gonna brief it anyway. So, like you said, the states passes their bill back in 2018, I think it was, and now Canada's got their basically their sports betting legalization process. It's more than begun. It's near the finish line, I would say. There was another passed through the House of Commons, I think 2 days ago. So we're basically, why don't you just explain what it is that's changing in Canada? Because I think for a lot of people, everyone knows someone that bets on sports, and obviously it's done illegally right now, but I don't think people understand what the bill is going to do kind of for the economy once, but also just for like day-to-day life at the casinos or anywhere around sports betting in Canada.
Yeah, so I mean, first off, estimated that there's $10 billion wagered in Canada illegally right now. So that's a lot of money that these provinces aren't seeing, because obviously, if this bill passes, they would get a cut. So basically, this is so it's Bill C 218, and what it would do is it would allow single game betting. So right now, if you were to go to playnow.com or something, you would have to bet on two teams in order to make a bet, which is very tough. It's very tough to win one bet, let alone two. So this would legalize.
We just talked about parlays too, like
Exactly. So this would legalize single game event betting, which would be huge. I mean, everyone wants it. The leagues want it, all the owners and commissioners, and it's changed a lot because it's so popular now in the United States. 10 years ago, owners didn't want it. NFL commissioner said, no, it's integrity of the game. We can't have this. There's going to be match fixing. Tim Donaghy in 2007 when he was roughing the NBA and he was fixing games with the mob. It's like it was very taboo, and now it's totally out in the open. Canada, of course, is last to the party. Hopefully, it passes through the Senate. Basically, it's in its final steps, and if it does, then it will come down to each province running their own sports betting.
So, is there an actual timeline as to when we can expect to actually legally sports bet?
I mean, I would hope by NFL season, but who knows? I mean, there's been rumors of an election because last time this bill was in the Senate, there was an election, and then the bill disappeared and it was gone. And so we're trying to avoid that. But if everything goes smoothly, I would say probably by the NFL season, and it'll be perfect. Yeah, it would be perfect. Yeah. September, October, I think would be a perfect time.
That'd be huge for World Series and all that stuff. That'd be kicking off right away.
And all these companies, I mean, there's so many big players involved. I mean, one of them, The Score, I think would be a big player. So, a company I've mentioned a few times to Elijah that hasn't been doing so well.
That stock. Yeah, I've lost about 40% on that one. Don't worry.
The Score. I mean, Canada is their home turf, so I feel like they're going to be one of the first sites that are going to be legalized. They have 3 million users on their app monthly. I mean, I think everyone knows someone who uses the Score app. So they have a big advantage there. I mean, they've been involved in the bill. They have a lot of connections here. So you got to look at them to be probably the first company to get a license. And data has showed that if you are first in state, you're going to get a bigger market share, because if you're the 9th company coming into a province, what incentive do I have to bet with you?
You're late to the party.
You're late to the party. So a company like The Score, they're going to probably be first in line. And then you got to look at the provincial lotteries, BCLC, OLG, WCLC, ALC that does the Maritimes. I mean, they're going to want a piece of the pie. And then you have DraftKings, of course. You have FanDuel. All these CEOs have said they want to join, and I'm really excited to see what happens.
Yeah. So the way this bill all happens, and then so like you said, you leave it up to the provinces to kind of figure out what happens at that point, because just like when a state legalizes gambling, if I have this right, after it's legalized, then the state has a choice to make whether or not they pretty much want to provincially run it and have everything go through them, which I think a few states are still doing at this point. Or do you want to leave it open to everyone, like the DraftKings, the Barstools, the FanDuel kind of thing?
Yeah, so you look at some states and they've done such a terrible job. I mean, Oregon is state-run and their numbers are terrible. Now the governor finally realized, okay, we need to open this up because you need competition. You can't have a state, especially when a lottery just doesn't really know anything about sports betting. This is all new to everyone. Again, it's 2018. This thing passed, so a lot of people are learning. You look to a state like New Jersey. They have 20 different betting sites. You look at Colorado, they're open market. I mean, you need to have competition. So I would think that these provinces would be wide open for everyone. A lot of these companies have connections. You look at Caesars. They just bought William Hill for $4 billion. They run a hotel in Windsor, Caesars Windsor. Barstool has a huge connection with Spinning Chicklets and Pink Whitney, in Canada. So everyone knows about Barstool. So I think it's going to be open for everyone, and it's really up to the provinces of how much they're going to charge and the cut they want.
Mm-hmm.
And so timeline wise, like if let's say the whole NFL season timeline pans out, we're legal around then. I haven't really followed this part of it. What establishes itself first? Is it people coming in with like internet software and apps and stuff like that, where that just immediately jumps in? Or are we talking like at the River Rock, there will be a sports book set up by the time this bill legalizes?
Well, I mean, I think it depends. Like, some states they do, you need to have a retail casino partnership in order to offer mobile gaming. So, for example, in Michigan, Twin Spires, we're partnered with a casino called Island Resort. And in order to offer mobile betting to everyone else in the state, you need to have that retail presence. So I don't think the provinces are going to do that where you need to have a retail presence at the River Rock. I think it's going to happen though. I think you're going to go to the River Rock, you're going to go to the park, you're going to go to Rogers Arena, and there's going to be kiosks at all these different places because of the Canucks, of course, they're going to partner with someone. You see all these teams partnering with all these sites,
Yeah.
DraftKings and the Cubs, BetMGM with the Tigers and the Red Wings, and you see them partner with athletes too. I mean, it's going to happen. You're going to see, Austin Matthews be, partner with some sort of site. So it's only a matter of time.
That's gonna be fucking wild when that happens. When we start seeing little Shia Elias Pettersson partner up with Barstool and causes another shitstorm. Oh god. Wait till you hear that one, boys. That's gonna be wild.
Zach, I have a question for you. So with obviously sports betting and everything like that, one thing that you did brought up was that every single province is going to try and get a piece of the pie as far as the money that's going to be circulating through it, right? Do you see this being something that's going to be impactful on our economy in the sense where it's like our economy might have a little bit more funding through these types of things, or?
Oh yeah, for sure. Right. Yeah. So, they estimate that I think 2,500 jobs, I think, will be created. They're going to make millions of dollars because, you think about it this way, say Ontario, which if you compare to the States is, I think, the 6th largest state, if you were to compare it. So population wise, it's huge. Money's going to be flowing. Say, for example, you have a sports book that makes 20 million in revenue and the province takes a 10% cut. Now, you multiply that by 5 or 6 and 7 other sports books who are going to have to pay the province. You have a lot of money for funding for schools and highways. And, you see New Jersey as an example. I mean, they've made hundreds of millions of dollars for the state. So it's really not about how much they're going to make. It's, are they going to utilize it properly?
Yeah, fair. Understandable. Especially like right now, that could be a very valuable thing, especially with how we're being impacted through the whole pandemic, right?
I think that's the reason why this bill has been pushed too. And you look at the states, they're losing money. They need a moneymaker, and online gambling is COVID proof. So they're trying to push this as fast as possible.
Yeah, true.
We got an insider in the Facebook chat. We got Jordan Mitchell chiming in. Casinos already kick back 5 to 10% of specific game revenues to the municipalities they operate in. So looks like we got a city worker on the inside there. That's pretty sick. Apparently thinks he knows the ins and outs. Now, I want to kind of pivot here, guys, a little bit. I want to talk about the ins and outs of something else, something that really fucking blows my mind. Monday to Friday, I think it's 7:30 to 3, whatever the fuck it is, the stock market. Can you explain what the hell the stock market means nowadays in 2021?
Well, I mean, it's
does the internet just rule everything?
Yeah, I think stock twits and Reddit, Wall Street bets, that they're really the big drivers to all this. I had no stock market experience, prior to COVID, and honestly, as bad as COVID has been, it's been honestly a blessing for me and a few of my friends because we've been able to get a lot of these stocks, at a dirt cheap price, and it hasn't been pretty the last few weeks, but in 2020 especially, I mean, if you weren't making money on a daily basis, you're doing something wrong. So for me, it's a great thing to do with my friends. I've reconnected with people who I haven't talked to in a few years, and we're closer than ever. So for us, stock market, it's just a big gamble. I mean, we're following what's happening on Twitter. We're investing in things that we know. So mainly for me, I invest in sports betting companies. So DraftKings, I have shares with them. The Score, Flutter Entertainment, which runs FanDuel and Fox Bet. So I try and stick to things that I know. I don't really know other industries as well, and it's been good so far.
The main question I have for you is, how many shares of Dogecoin do you have, if any?
I haven't bought any, and unfortunately, I kind of missed the boat on that. I know there's another one too. I think it's called Safe Moon. That one's been rocketing as well. I do have some crypto. I've been buying Bitcoin and Ethereum for probably the past like 8 months, and I'm a believer in it. I think people are going to keep using it, and I'm not really a fan of a lot of those altcoins where I think some of them are just a scam. So I just stay away from that. I stick to the main ones.
Yeah, see,
it's not a bad idea.
When you say you missed the boat on Dogecoin, I didn't. And I didn't invest because top left of your screen there, Elijah Needham, it's like, dude, don't buy Dogecoin. It's half a cent a share. don't do it. It's such a waste of money. It's a scam. And I thought to myself, why not just invest $100 just for shits and gigs, see what happens. And then I think last week, it goes up to like, I don't know, 500% increase. I'm like, cool, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
So the one
I feel
piece
quite
of advice,
labeled.
Sorry?
Go ahead. Sorry, I thought you were finished.
No, but I got talked out of it and I was really upset.
I mean, it's always easy to see, say after the fact when something goes up 500% or 1,000%. You look at GameStop or AMC. All these really lousy companies that have no business going up so much. But when you have millions of people on Reddit who are pumping it up, anything's possible. But a lot of people lost money too because they bought at the top, and then that Robinhood fiasco happened, and then people lost a lot of money. And I feel for those people because they probably didn't know any better, and they were just riding the wave.
Yeah. Riding the wave, it's a great phenomenon. It does not always end well for the people at the top of the wave, though. I'll say that. So this idea, guys, I kind of want to open your eyes to something here because this is what I do. I educate my friends as well and anyone listening. Now, I think it's all fun and games for us right now because we feel young. Like we feel young and pretty like aware of what's going on with the internet and the stock market and what may have you. When people say like, oh, stonks are taking over the world, like obviously you have boomers out there like who are shitting their lazy boy chair where we're sitting here saying like, yeah, I get it. It's the internet, it has power. But are you guys, this is for all of you here. Are you guys all not shook for when we start getting into our 30s and like the young people start pulling the rug from under us with like shit we just don't understand?
Dude, I already feel old with stuff like that. What are you talking about?
Dude, wait for VR gaming. Like wait till they start doing that to us.
Dude, the first time I think I felt older, I felt like the younger generation just had like an upper hand on me was when they came out with TikTok. I just couldn't fucking wrap my head around that. That was like the start of it all. Like it's already happening. It's just it's happening on a much smaller scale as opposed to if we were in our 30s or 40s.
There you go.
Yeah, I would say Zach, you've got a good youthful mind on you, but are you not a little shook that maybe one day like boom, Bill C-118 or whatever it was just gone, burnt.
Yeah,
Chris. No, I mean, I always tell people, just invest what you're willing to lose. Same with betting. You bet what you're willing to lose. So, I'm not all in. So I'm not going to be, going hungry or you're not affording rent. So I think, just be smart about it. It could happen any day.
That's so true. That's so true. Okay. So another pivot coming up, boys. Actually, I'll throw some. Do you have any knowledge on high tide? I got a couple of listeners asking about high tide. I'm going to guess no. Little cannabis stock. I don't think it's up your alley.
I do not know. Sorry.
Okay, but maybe actually I have one more stock question for you. Now, at least in my life, I've kind of described you as the guru, the kind of go-to guy. You are that guy for me. Have you ever given someone like a stock advice that has like kind of just fucked up, and you're sitting there like shit?
Wait, can I compound on that question too? Have you ever had a friend come up to you and been like, "Can you buy stocks with the money that I give you?" And then see where that goes.
I actually have someone watching right now who has asked that, really? And I said no because I didn't want to be responsible for those losses. No, of course. I mean, I'm not picking 100% winners here. I've definitely given out a few picks that didn't go well, and at the end of the day, it's like you're willing to listen to me and risk a little bit of money. It's going to happen. Just like people have given me stocks that have tanked. I invested in a drone company I think a couple weeks ago, and it went down 60%.
Oh.
The drone can't fly, basically. So it's like I'm out of money. So and it happens. That's life.
Yeah. How is it looking over the past few days though? Did it jump back up by chance? Because I know that there's some NASA stuff going on with drones right now. So I wonder if that made it to the media, which could have.
I mean, I've been getting killed in the last 2 weeks. In the
okay,
stock
never mind.
I think. Yeah. Everything I touch is red right now. So hopefully it bounces back.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
So my first foray into the stock market, I'm not going to name any names here, but I was working with someone at the time, someone who fuck off, my headphones died. I'm just going to tell a story with the headphones. So I was working with this guy, great guy, funny guy. I thought pretty smart guy too. He is a smart guy. He gave me a little bit of a tip on some stocks because we had been talking for a few shifts back and forth. So he tells me about this stock. It was a therapeutic company that was like in a clinical trial to take over this big market as like a cancer treating drug. And I started doing my own research at home, and I'm following up on all this stuff. I'm like, oh shit, this is like a huge market. And this is my first time in the stock market. And so I throw like a little bit of an uncomfortable amount. I was like, I had that like beginner jitters, you know, you're like, I'm fucking honest. Something like, this is how I get big rich right here. And so it's in there for probably 4 months. Time goes by. I remember the exact moment this happened. I was in Bed Bath & Beyond. I walk up the stairs. I open up my stocks app and I see fucking minus 75%. And I like start, my heart drops to the ground. I start looking up and the fucking trial fails, dude. Just
No.
X-nayed on the spot. Zach, do you have any stories like that where just like so confident and then no? I guess there's a few.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've invested in a few companies that I had no idea what they were doing. And I think one was like an Israeli pharmaceutical company. And yeah, the trial didn't pass and basically lost like 80% of their price. And then, that's the risk of, investing in an Israeli company that I don't know anything about. So, I've definitely done it before. And that's just pure gambling at that point.
Hey, I think maybe that's the same as, is it VBLT? That's my Israeli company right out there. That's my boys.
I think it's something else. I didn't want to think about it because it was
just
not
a
nice.
Different Israeli therapeutic company.
It was KTOV. KTOV, I think, was the ticker.
Okay, so this is the one stock tip we'll get out there is just avoid Israeli therapeutics is what we'll say.
Yes,
that's the winner there. Okay, so next pivot here, guys. Am I okay to take the next pivot? I'm gonna just do it. So shifting, you said NFL earlier. We got the NFL draft coming up. And this quarterback talk is kind of heated up. So I want to take our hockey podcast and turn it into a draft analyst podcast. Trevor Lawrence goes fourth out of the quarterbacks. Who's going first, though?
Shut up.
Wait, what?
No, Trevor Lawrence does not go first. We can get that. I just got that out of the way for you.
I would love to book your action on that if you think that's going to happen.
you don't like the upside of a Zach Wilson?
I mean, it's gonna go Lawrence Wilson. That's a virtual lock. 1-2.
So, but I've heard quotes out there comparing Wilson to Mahomes. He's got Mahomes like arm talent.
I know he's got a cannon of an arm, but I mean, that's about it. Yeah, have you seen Trevor Lawrence play? I mean, got a lot more to offer.
I only ever see him without the helmet on, and his stock drops every time.
They have basically said they're going to pick him. I mean, if you were to bet on him right now, I think you'd have to bet $1,000 to win like $1. It's basically it's going to happen. It's a foregone conclusion.
All right. So why don't we do Josh? Josh, are you pretty in with all the QB prospects here, the 5 of them? Yeah. Okay. So why don't you give me your rankings, Josh, and then we'll let Zach blow them up for you.
Okay. Well, I'm kind of on the same side of Zach right now. With obviously Lawrence is going number 1. And then who is the other guy that Zach Wilson to the Jets, 100%. They just need like a pocket passer, like just big bodied, awesome arm. Then I'm picking Justin Fields to the Niners. I think they're going to have an insurance policy on Jimmy G. The interesting one, I think, is the Broncos, I believe, are picking 10. And they're saying that Trey Lance might be going to the Broncos. I'd love to see Mac Jones in a Patriots uniform. And I think they've got the 14th. I don't know what pick they each have, but those would be like my top 5.
That's your order there. Okay. Zach, what do you think about those?
Yeah, I think the Pats have the 15th pick. And there have been some rumors, obviously, they have Noon on a 1-year deal. So they're probably looking at a quarterback, someone who can come in for a year. And I agree with you. I think Jones is a perfect fit for the Patriots. Yeah, no, I would go Lawrence for sure, number 1. Number 2, Wilson. Third, I'd have to go with Fields. The odds have actually shifted against him, and Jones is actually the favorite to go third. And I disagree with it. I think you look at recent history and you look at all the dual threat quarterbacks who have been drafted. I think the only like pocket passer in the last 5 years who's been drafted, I think, is Jared Goff, like an actual relevant quarterback. But everyone else, I mean, you look at the Mayfields and the Mahomes and the Lamar Jacksons. You want someone I think who can do it all, and I like Fields. I also kind of like Kyle Trask. No one really talks about him. Really off the board. He has a cannon of an arm. Not many people are talking about him. He's likely not going to go in the first round, but I like him. I think he's going to be a stud one day.
Oh yeah, okay. I got a couple. Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
No, sorry. You haven't given your picks.
Well, I'm just going to address these real quick. We got a guy in the YouTube chat. You might know him. He wanted us to talk about Bitcoin. That's just too basic, bitch, for this podcast. Bitcoin, it's a bust. Get out if you can. But the more serious question: does Twin Spires take NFL draft bets? That's a good question.
We do. Yeah, we have hundreds of markets, so you can bet on, which teams are going to bet pick on which position first. You can bet on the over/under selection on a certain player. So, for example, if you want to bet on, Mac Jones over/under 3.5, you can bet the under. If you think he's going to go third, you can bet the over. If you think he's going to go fourth or higher. A lot of future bets, and it's actually quite popular. I mean, the NFL's our biggest sport, and we're taking a lot of bets on it right now.
Love that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so my list, I got Lawrence, unfortunately, going first. Now I'll field a question after this that will allow me to rant a little bit. Zach Wilson's easy too. We're all there with that one. I'm going Mac Jones third, Trey Lance fourth, Justin Fields fifth. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Gonna do that, and now I'm gonna top it off by saying, if you guys had to pick, I'm saying this part, Trevor Lawrence is not gonna be the best QB to come out of this draft when we're all said and done. You guys can agree with that, right? I know he's getting chosen first, but we're all pretty aligned on that, right?
With Trevor Lawrence, for me, I don't really have an opinion on the guy. Like, he's good. Like, he's really good. But I don't know. He doesn't seem to fit the NFL look. And that's just my own personal opinion. He just doesn't seem that way. Anyway, I'm sure.
What do you mean by that?
Opinion.
What do you mean? Like, what look are you looking for?
I don't know. He just doesn't seem. I feel like he might get hurt.
It's his face, right?
I just genuinely think he is too skinny. And that's coming from the skinny.
We talking about the same guy here? I don't think Trevor Lawrence is that skinny.
He's
is he not?
No,
Really?
I think you're thinking about someone else.
I mean, like Zach Wilson, same thing. I think Mac Jones is thin as sticks, isn't he?
Smaller than Lawrence.
Yeah.
I mean, Urban Meyer, I think, is a great, scenario for Trevor Lawrence. A great offensive-minded coach. I mean, the Jaguars, they're still the Jaguars, so I don't expect them to be Super Bowl contenders in the first couple of years. But I mean, high IQ quarterback. I mean, just like fundamentals are all there. I'm not an NFL draft expert by no means. I don't see the hype in Jones at all. I like Lawrence. I don't see the hype in Jones, though. I think he's going to be a bust.
I think what it comes down to for a lot of us armchair fans like myself is you go to the intangibles. You go to the way their face looks, their name, the way they smile, stuff like that. Lawrence looks soft. I mean, the hair is one thing. I'm out here chirping hair, but it just looks a bit, it's just a bit, like there's that. And then Trevor Lawrence, it sounds like a bust name. Mac Jones, that sounds like a guy who comes out, oh, dude, second in the, I don't know what the rookie trophy is there. The NFL Heisman, we'll call it. Fuck it. I forget what the trophy's called.
My other question for you guys is, do you guys think it is a possibility that Atlanta actually goes quarterback? Because Matt Ryan is
4, right?
Yeah, they've got 4. So I was reading something today, and the mock draft said that the Falcons actually take, who's the tight end out of Florida? What's his name? Pitts?
Kyle Pitts, I think.
I forget his first name. Yeah, so they take him, but there's part of me that thinks that you got to move on from Matt Ryan here. Like, he's good, he really is, but you've got you've got so many quarterbacks that are going to go in the top 15, and if you're not picking one, like, it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Ryan's 35, so he had a good run there. I agree. I think you got to look for a quarterback eventually. Yeah. And this is a deep quarterback class, so this would be the year to do it.
Yeah. Do you think it's a possibility that you could throw money on 4 quarterbacks going top 4?
Yeah. I mean, at least for sure.
He wants to tell fuck no, you idiot. That's what he wants to say.
I mean, for sure, top 10, I think that is a lock. I think you can bet right now. You can actually go to Twin Spires now or DraftKings, whoever you want to bet, and you can bet over 5.5 in the first round, which I actually kind of like. I think you could see 6 quarterbacks. It's a deep class, and wouldn't surprise me if the Falcons. I do think the Patriots, though, I think they're going to trade up, and I think they're going to take a quarterback.
Okay, so before I ask this question, I'm doing some more moderating in the chats here. We got Steel City again. Our guy Steel City. He's asking some pretty deep questions. How much does it cost to buy a sportsbook license in Canada? I'm putting it over under $55. Give or take some zeros.
Well, I mean, there's no actual. We don't know yet, so I mean,
we have
it's
no
not
idea.
legal. You look at New York. I think it's 20 million. So that's basically the high end. So if I had to guess, something like Ontario, which is obviously going to be the biggest moneymaker, it would be, I would assume, a couple million minimum.
That's
Plus
it.
you got.
And New York's 20.
Well, no, I say minimum. I mean, it could be 5 million. It could be
Let's throw
10 million.
30. Let's get the numbers going. Like you said, tax revenue, the less money we pay in these COVID taxes. Let's get 40, 30.
Well, I mean, you got to pay a yearly licensing fee. You got to pay probably anywhere from 10 to 15% of your gross revenue. So at the same time, you got to be fair to these operators. We're running a business here. So margins on sports, aren't very high compared to casino. So, we need to be able to make money. And I think these provinces will eventually learn and get it right. So, yeah, I would expect, Ontario, definitely not 20 million. It's definitely not on the level of New York, but I would say, yeah.
Conversion, though.
Yeah, I'd say, I don't know, 5-10 million would be my guess, but there's no official numbers.
You're uncomfortable even saying 5-10. I forced you into the 5-10 number. Okay, but you just mentioned before I went and moderated the chat a little bit was the Patriots drafting up. Now, really, regardless of what the Patriots do, we can all agree. I've got a bet going with Josh already. I think we bet a couple $100 on this, Josh. I forget the number. I'm firm on this belief that the Patriots will have more wins than the Dolphins. What are your thoughts on this one? Can I please have some backup here?
Well, I mean,
you're uncomfortable again. You gotta help me out here.
It's tough. I mean, I would lean Miami. I haven't looked at the schedule, so I don't know what their strength of schedules are. I know the Patriots are returning a few guys on defense.
A few, man.
I know.
It's
looking
like the Expendables of the NFL.
But they're older. Some of them are older. I don't know. I would have to look at. I don't even know what the win totals are right now. I would lean Miami slightly, but I have to look at strength of schedule and a lot of things. But yeah, I would go with Miami.
It's not your fault. I mean, you're not around Josh really that much. Josh is a mush, and he's a Miami fan, so he's probably mushing the entire Miami fan base. Which the lanyard, the golf, the head cover, it speaks for itself. That's probably why they're under 6 wins this year.
How did you become a Miami fan?
Did you ever play NFL Fever 2004 on Xbox?
Did not. No.
That's very specific.
That's actually how I became a Dolphins fan. Was I played with Ricky Williams. He was my running back. He was probably around 93 overall in that game. The guy was nasty, and plus I was a kid, so I loved the uniforms, and I just stuck with him ever since. Now I actually want to talk about Cincinnati Bengals because they're at 6. Do you think they go offensive line and draft Sewell, or do they take one of the wide receivers, specifically Jamar Chase from LSU, who Burrow threw to in college?
Well, I mean, their O-line is terrible, so I would look at protecting your star quarterback. So, last year you look at their O-line, decimated, and
but he was running for his life.
Exactly. So I mean, you got to protect your star. So I would go with an O-line. There are some good wide receiver picks. I like I think it's Jalen Waddle out of Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
He's a stud. I think he's going to go to Carolina, but I think O-line's a no-brainer there.
Yeah, I was again. I've been stalking mock drafts this entire week, and they're saying that Jamar Chase, Miami's going to take him. Most likely at, I forget what pick they have now because they traded down. 5? They have 5 now.
I think 6.
Is it 6? Might have 6.
Yeah.
Then they're saying Najee Harris, the running back from Alabama, gets a stud at 16. Love that. Add him into the offense, and boom, there's your offense, Elijah. So fuck you.
Good luck, dude. Hopefully they play like the NFL Fever 2003. That's all I can say to you.
Yeah.
Okay, Zach, we don't have too many more questions here. We're going to wrap up soon, but now throughout your gambling life, your betting days, the stock market, stuff like this, it seems you've been rather successful in this. I just want to know, you're also, I've done some digging on you, aka I've hung out with you a few times. I know this. Not only do you have 2 first names, you also are an only child. Do you think this has somehow contributed to an unfair advantage in life?
I had a pretty good life growing up. Being an only child, I was pretty spoiled. So, I had a lot of freedom to do what I wanted. I wouldn't have changed it for the world. I've talked to My girlfriend Lindsay about this a few times, and she always asked, "Well, were you ever bored, or ever you're lonely?" And I was never lonely. I love my alone time. I'm the type of guy who has no problem going to a movie theater by myself and watching a movie, going to Earl's Happy Hour by myself, sitting at the bar. I mean, no, I loved it, and maybe it gave me a little bit of advantage. I started young, so I think it's worked out.
Yeah, all of us over here are just too busy fucking messing around, pulling pranks on brothers and sisters. You're reading the market. That's what you're doing.
Exactly. Head start.
Man. Well, okay, guys. I think that's all we got for today. We hell yeah, we killed it. I think our listeners are smarter for it. Zach, we can't thank you enough for coming on, though. It's been fun, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Zach.
Zach, appreciate it.
Yeah, take care, guys.
Take care, buddy.
Adios. All right, folks, fellas, ladies, gentlemen, germs, Josh. That's me.
His own category.
Yes. So once again, thanks to Zach for coming and joining on the show, guys. Sometimes I forget to preface things for the podcast listeners out there. I'm really having a hard time balancing the two. But if you're catching us on the podcast forum, you missed out on the sexy look, but we hope you got some good information, especially from the chat questions we had in there too. Promo code THPN at sign up. We mentioned that at DraftKings.com. But fellas, it's good to catch up with you again. It feels like the Tuesday to Sunday grind that I get to miss out on you guys, especially for Josh. It's been a full week now. Welcome back to the show, sir. How are you doing?
Man, I am doing well. I had a bit of a exhilarating week, to say the least. But I'm glad to be back. So a couple things going on in my life, just in terms of not what was actually happening this week, but just what I'm up to. 3 things, boys. Numero uno. I bought MLB The Show. I'm pumped. I've been waiting for I started playing MLB The Show when it was in 2009 on my PSP. So I've been waiting like a good 12 years for it to come to Xbox and on full screen. So that's huge. I started watching Yellowstone, which is a Banana Land show. If you guys have not watched it, I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it.
What's it about again?
Have you ever you've seen Animal Kingdom and Sons of Anarchy, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a modern day Cowboys and Indians type of feel to it. Crime show. But it's based in Montana, like in the southeast part of Montana, like where it borders Yellowstone, because it's kind of in the northeast corner of Wyoming. But Kevin Costner is a star in it. There's a bunch of well-known actors in it, so I'm all about it. I'm almost on season 1, and I'm very upset because there's only 3 seasons, and I've almost binged it season 1 in 1 week. So we're trending high right now, boys. And then my last one, I didn't really get to talk about it last week because I wasn't here, was my golf game is inconsistent as fuck. But I'm sure we will jump into that a little bit later. So overall, I'm like a 7 out of 10 right now.
All right. Raph, how you doing, big guy?
Dude, I'm good. I'm like also a 7 out of 10. It's my weekend. I had a nap, ready to rock. Weather's going to suck tomorrow, so that blows. But I mean,
dude,
going with it, rolling with the punches.
I checked for next week, boys. It's raining.
Yeah, it's raining all day.
Next Sunday.
Yeah.
A week from today, we are going to be under the weather. So lucky us.
Yeah.
We're going to get sick?
Yeah.
No.
Fuck.
COVID's a real thing, Elijah.
Yeah. The variants. Oh, that wasn't meant to be condescending. It's a real thing. I agree.
Josh, have you registered for your COVID vaccine yet?
No, not yet.
Gotta get on that, buddy.
I think we should just pause the show.
Yeah, I think you should just go.
What do you think?
Where right now?
Actually, I was gonna say, where do you go? But I'll ask you later, Raph.
Yeah, it's easy, but we'll go through it. What's been going on with me? Actually, Raph, is this a different look on your room? Is there something different going on?
Maybe.
I swear to God, the door, like, it looks like you.
Yeah, I rotated my desk around like 2 weeks ago. No.
Yeah. I'm looking at it. I was just pointing to, he's doing that. And I'm like, yeah, dude, what the fuck? The door's on the left, used to be on the right, and the chair, what?
I measured out my room and I literally like maximized all the space in it. There's like I have like an inch of maybe like empty space from like this wall next to me to like the other wall. Like we're fucking capitalizing on everything. It's nice.
There you go.
Fuck yeah, dude. That sounds like me back in the day when I used to like when my room was in my mom's basement, and I'd move the bed into the absolute corner of the room, and I'd put couches around. I'd be like, look, I made a super bed.
Yeah.
I maxed my space.
You also had like 50 couches in your room though when we were growing up.
Because I had like 50 dudes coming to join me. Sausage fest, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
Having fun in the house. You know what I have to do now? I feel like we've told the story of you guys sneaking out and smoking pot at when we were kids. Yeah. I don't think we've told it when my mom was on the podcast. So we'll save some time in a few coming episodes, and I'll make sure she's watching to hear.
She's caught us before. We can also talk about it once we bring her on for Mother's Day.
We're gonna do that actually. So that'd be a good time. Boys, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. It's been a week now since I've seen Josh, and
did you miss me?
I did miss you. Now, me and Raph, we killed that episode on Tuesday. We had a good time, just like old days. I titled that episode "Old Married Couple" because, like, that's not always a bad thing, Raph. I think that's a good thing sometimes.
We didn't disagree or fight or anything, which was really nice. It was really civil.
I think you guys needed some alone time, so
I would agree.
Yeah.
Thanks for providing that.
The parents.
I will say the thing I missed out on most was I was excited to talk golf. The golf game that me and Josh played. I was excited for Josh to talk golf because Josh, you had yourself around, buddy. you swung the wrenches pretty well, didn't you?
I did. Do we want to get into that right now?
Yeah, why don't we? Yeah, we'll watch how much time we spend on it because we tend to tangent, both of us.
Okay, well, let's mark it at the 51:45 mark, and we'll see how long we go.
Okay.
What I will say is I'm not going to touch on the front nine because I'll just get upset. The second thing I'll say is I did rally on the back. I rallied on the back, boys. 3 straight pars, 10, 11, 12. Thanks for coming. I've told this story to so many people now. I actually have my back nine memorized in my head because I took a picture of the scorecard and I've looked at it so many times. So parred 10, 11, 12. That was huge. Then I ended up taking a 7 on a par 5. I was really pissed because I actually had a really good drive, but nonetheless. Then I ended up, what else and then I think I parred the next 2, birdied 5, and then it was nuts. I ended up shooting a 49 on the front and a 42 on the back, which was wild. And the thing was like I was rolling, like there was never a point on the back when I'm like, I'm nervous. There was never a point. There were points when I thought, Josh, like, you're fine, man. You're fine. Just swing the club. You're good. Don't worry. You're probably close to a tie, but not really. So just swing easy.
And there it was. I would say the moment for me, the shining moment when I look back at your game was those back nine. There's a par 3. You duffed your tee shot. It probably went 40 yards. And you came up and you stuck it after that. Like, you stuck it pretty damn close. I think you parred that hole.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like that one right there made me think, okay, this dude took a Viagra before we started playing. Like, he's big dick swinging on the club right now. Yeah. So great. I would say great rally by you, dude. Huge round. So you've played 3 rounds. No, you've played more than 3 rounds this year. How many have you played now? I think 4.
5.
I think 4
or 5.
Okay. And I think your scores are something like 103, 107. And then you're jumping down to like 92.
Well, my first round of the year was a 97. Then I shot I think it was, man, I don't even remember, to be honest. I should probably start keeping track. But what I will say is going into that round on Monday, I ended up shooting a 103 at Hazelmere. So I was kind of coming in. Well, sketching, we had already talked about that actually because we podcasted after I got home from golf. So that one was a little bit iffy. So going into tomorrow or Monday, everyone doubted me, man. Everyone fucking doubted me. And you know what? I believed the hype. I believed the doubters. For a second, I thought, Josh, you're going to shank one right off the tee here. And the first hole, Aja, you will remember, that is a daunting.
It's a little bit of a bowling alley.
I think it was I don't know the exact yardage, but it was easily over 500 yards. It was a 500-yard raft, par 5.
Yeah.
And you maybe have like 15 yards off to the left or right before you are hitting bark of a million trees. It
Wow.
is nuts. It was
That's pretty cool for the rest of the course though, because then it just opens up past that, right?
Yeah, like I would say, Elijah, like, what did you think? I thought the course was actually pretty narrow for the most part.
Yeah, like there was just a lot of layup holes. Like it's not a. We were playing with a member there. Her name was Debbie. She must have been in her 70s or 60s. She was awesome. Fucking. Yeah. If you're watching this, Debbie, thank you, but you're a gem. She was telling us it's not really about distance. It's about placing your irons, really. Mm-hmm. And like, because there was a couple. Golf. One of my, like, I shot a terrible round. I think I shot a 101 or something like that, and not terrible on score because that's a bad score, not the worst I've ever shot. But like, I had meltdown after meltdown. Part of my biggest problem on that course was I think I had 2 or 3 holes where I absolutely piped a driver, and like, it just was gone. Like, it was in the woods, and it was straight. Like, I piped it straight, but I just went farther than I thought I could. I guess I have no idea, but
yeah, well,
fucking crushed that.
You know what, E? If you're not going to tell the story, I'm going to tell the story. Unless you haven't already.
So I told the Eagle story on the Tuesday episode because that's all I really could muster up. That's the one where I couldn't hold back. I don't know if I can't remember what I mentioned where. Yeah, I did mention where the whole design of the hole, when you and I drove the ball, we thought the hole was going right. Like, we saw a flag to the right and we're like, fuck, we messed up our drives a little bit. And we walked up to our balls and we got there, and you're like, oh shit, I'm like 60 yards out. I actually went the right way. The flag's to the left.
Yeah. 100%.
How dumb is that?
It was nuts. And I felt so bad for Bailey because he had his best shot of the day because he was aiming for the wrong flag.
Yeah.
Which was terrible. I felt awful because he bombed it. Like, yeah, it was an unreal drive. Like, it was a beautiful, like, left to right movement. It almost looked like it was going to be a kind of like the green was lower and he would have just had a nice chip, which he can obviously do. And then lo and behold, we asked Debbie, being like, where's the hole? And she's like, oh, it's there.
Yeah.
And Bailey's like, fuck me. What are we doing here? Yeah. So yeah, that was a tough hole. That was a tough hole because, and the thing that made me cry, did you just tell your Eagle story? Did you tell the whole thing?
I think I told my Eagle story. I didn't really tell the rest of the hole.
So the funniest part was that we get on the green. So the way that it went was Elijah was obviously on and 2, had probably a 15 to 16 foot putt for Eagle. And that ball was carrying, like, it was tracking. Like, if you miss that putt, you're 3 putting and you're parring. So 100%. He drains it. I duffed my approach shot, so I was putting for bird, probably out just outside of 5 feet, and I nailed it, so that was fine. Bailey had the same putt for Eagle, and he sees Elijah drain his Eagle. I almost jumped into your arms, Elijah. I was going crazy on the greens. Yeah. I drained my birdie. I'm pumped. Jordan's crippled in the golf cart. Debbie's buzzing. And then Bailey silences us with, boys, I'm going to 3-putt this. Because he overshot his Eagle, missed his birdie for a tap in par, and he was so mad. Now, I felt so bad, but I couldn't help but laugh. We proceed to go into 16, and Bailey's pissed. And I duff my tee shot again. No worries. I'm chilling. Ended up taking a bogey on that hole. Elijah puts his back far right of the green. It was fine. Good shot. Whatever. Bailey then proceeds to ground his tee shot straight into the water on the approach.
Yeah. This was a meltdown.
And it was a full-blown, I couldn't even watch. It was horrid for me. I was dying though. I looked back at Jordan and he couldn't even contain his laughter.
That was a rough moment for sure.
It was but overall it was a good round. I enjoyed the track. I think the courses definitely could have been a little bit better, but nonetheless it was fun.
Anyways, guys, I kind of fucked up. I remember I wrote down in my outline, I was like, let's talk about Canucks talk at the beginning of that interview. so that like we kind of have that addressed right out of the get-go. And then, you know, because we're a hockey podcast, we probably should do that, right? Canucks right out of the get-go. Now, this whole interview at the start thing is fucking with my brain a little bit. But I fucked up. I didn't talk with the Canucks right away with Zach. So we're an hour into a Canucks hockey podcast, and we have not mentioned the Canucks yet. Nice. So, Raph, we're gonna plan literally on the live streamer. So what you're gonna do is I'm basically gonna start the live stream right now, and you're just gonna in post you're just gonna cut it and throw it at the beginning of the episode. Sounds great, right?
That's gonna make my life such a pain in the ass. I hope you know that.
It won't be that bad. I'll clap at the beginning. I'll clap at the end.
This is the thing. You're always like, it won't be that bad, and then you're not the one editing it. I'm the one sitting here editing it.
Yeah, that part really sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, that part does really suck. And I don't understand why you fucking blows. You always do this thing. You're like, hey, Raph, don't worry. I'll clap sync it and it'll be great. Elijah, clap sync doesn't fucking matter, dude.
Yeah, I know. I just want to clap. I'm just
clap sync doesn't matter on an audio podcast.
We can all clap if you want.
No, because then it's all going to be out of sync because there's going to be a delay.
All right, 3, 2, 1. So the Vancouver Canucks, we come into this last week here. And like I said, guys, playoff, I'm not the only one saying this. Josh, Raffle, me, we're all on this. We are fucking on the playoff train. The playoff train's chugging away. And we come into this week, we're playing the Ottawa Senators. We haven't recorded since that. What is it? We come out rough 3-0 loss there. That was tough. Oh, we also played the Leafs and won again. So fuck the Leafs. We'll get to that again. But also, so we play the Senators, lose 3-0 first game, come back and win the next one, though. So we're sitting pretty right now, boys. We are updating the standings. We are 8 points back, 5 games in hand, still on the Canadians. Josh, any chance you kind of saw what was going on there?
Real quick, do you still think we're sitting pretty after we got 3-0 by Ottawa? Because I wouldn't really say that's sitting pretty. Oh, bye, Josh. Fuck, that's going to make my life even more difficult. Great. Fucking hell.
It's all falling apart here. So no, I'm still confident in the way it's going. Just we've said it.
I am too, but I don't think it's sitting pretty.
Sitting pretty, dude. Last time we talked, we were 5 games in hand, 10 points back. Now we're 5 games in hand, 8 points back. So we are I think we're sitting pretty. I'm going to give it that title.
So what would have been 5 games in hand, 6 points back, Ben? What would you have called that?
Would that
have been sitting pretty then?
Yeah, that would have been sitting. That would have been.
So what's this then? They both can't be sitting pretty.
No, you definitely can.
No, they can't.
It's all about mindset. It's all about your mindset and the way you perspect things. Perspective. Perspect things. Yeah. Shout out Maple Leafs Media. Thanks for supporting hockey YouTubers. We appreciate it. Yeah, no. So I like along this journey, Raffle. It's tough for me because I've already thrown the X. I've already thrown the clinched playoff berth on the last episode. I said we've already clinched our playoff spot. Yeah. So it's just a bit tough for me to top that in terms of emotion. But just know that I won't waver. Is really the kick in the dick there.
Okay.
Yeah. So so let's look at what's going on here. I was really hoping that Josh would be able to help me out. There he is. That's the guy. That's the one we're looking for. What's up, Josh?
All right.
We're still.
You don't need to clap sync, dude. Are you fucking kidding me?
Now you know we're gonna clap sync everything.
I was just doing that to fuck with you, Raph. I'm sorry if that stuck your head out. It's 103:40. Mark the timestamp so you can just take that out.
Actually, 103:23 when your audio starts, but it's fine.
Okay. So, Vancouver Canucks, Braden Holtby. This is why you are here. Because when Demko sucks nuts, you were there to pick up the slack. You were there to be the clutch playoff Washington Capital goalie that everyone loves in DC. That is why you are here. You are growing in Vancouver right now as a fan favorite. I am all about you. I will praise you. Just get me to the playoffs. That is all I ask. Brock Besser, huge game. First goal in 6 games. Nice little monkey off the back there.
Yeah.
And boys, even a little bit of Nate Schmidt action getting on the scoreboard yesterday. Hey, nice little step into the old slapper. Now, I was gonna ask because I watched the extended highlights. Did Ottawa fucking use 3 goalies yesterday, or did they only use 2? What's happening in their teams?
So I was out of the house as well, so I did the same thing you did. I was following along on Twitter and the score, and then watched some highlights afterwards. But
then they have a backup essentially ready to go in case something didn't work out because they used 2 goalies, I think.
Yeah, they went to the backup. I think Matt Murray ended up getting hurt on a little bit of a spin in the crease at one point.
Yeah. Then what's his name had to come off the bench because he was previously injured or whatever, and he wasn't supposed to play, but he was still there.
Yeah, I think that was Hoberg is his name.
Yeah. And then they had a player basically warming up, putting on what's it called, a centerman, I think, warming up, putting on pads,
just in case
ready to basically step in case they needed him. Yeah.
Fuck, dude, that's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
That would have been a whole David Ayers situation, but way worse, dude. If you got fucking one of their guys, Brady Kachuk, in net, dude.
Yeah.
How many guys would be running the goalie if that was happening?
Who was the was that the guy? Was that the Carolina guy, the Zamboni guy, or no?
Yeah, David Ayers, the emergency backup way back, the one that beat the Leafs.
Yeah, fucking crazy.
Okay, so Josh, when you were away on the Tuesday episode, I officially clinched the playoff spot for the Canucks. I said they have an X next to their name. So I was telling Raffle, it's hard for us really to top that emotionally, but now we're 5 games in hand, 8 points back, like I said. Next 2 games still against Ottawa. We've only lost to these fools once. So, guys, this is you're watching greatness at this point, are you not?
Yeah, I love what the Canucks are doing right now. They're putting together some. Before the whole lockdown thing, they were stringing together wins, but I was never fully convinced in terms of, can this team perform in the postseason? Yeah. Watching them now coming out of this, they're winning, and when they win, it's dominant. They're not kind of squeaking out close wins, and I know that's a good thing because you need those to get yourself going. But right now, even against Toronto, like, very convincing, which is interesting. So I'm all about it. I'll join you on the hype wagon, E. I know I've been flip-flopping like a dead fish on a boat, just kind of flip-flopping back and forth as to whether or not this team is legit or not. But I'm in.
Yeah, I think being relatively healthy, I mean, even doing all this without EP. I mean, I think I remember when we first started doing episodes when he was just injured, and we were saying, like, I think it was back in March when we started having this hot month. And we were saying, like, dude, isn't it crazy that we're on this 4-game win streak for the first time this year and it's without EP? Like,
he's a hex, dude.
Yeah. Well, that was actually bad luck on me because I started to say things like, oh, man, isn't like when he comes back, it's going to have to start being, he's going to have to change his game a little bit. Not, but just for the long term, you got to find a way to not impact the team that way. Yeah. But here we are. He might, it's rumored that he might miss the rest of the season. So that's going to be tough right there. But I think that just the way this team is winning, it's not quite like the Vegas Golden Knight playoff series where it's like miraculous, just like resurrection from the grave. It is a bit wishy-washy sometimes. Like, we're giving up some bad chances. Goalies are bailing us out, but that's what good teams do to win. And I think having 2 goals right now, people would have said, oh, if Demko can win, you'll be good. But now we have Holtby doing it. So if you got 2 goalies playing well, it just increases your chances, I think. So
yeah,
here we are, boys.
I love that.
All right, why don't we move in? Why don't we wrap this episode up here? We're going to do one last segment, guys. We're going to do the internet stories segment. Your favorite stories from the internet, aka our favorite. If you got any ones during this live stream while we're talking, throw it up in the chat. We'll read it. We'll start diving in. Our producer Ralph will research it a little bit.
Crap.
And I just want to shout out Maple Leafs Media up in the YouTube chat, recognizing that Vancouver is a motivated group right now. I think he's talked about the team. He could also be talking about the podcast. We are a very motivated bunch, that's for sure. Who wants to start out this internet stories segment?
I would like to go first.
All right.
Oh yeah, Raph.
I just want to fucking talk about this real quick because I almost brought it up when we were talking with Zach, and I just thought it was really interesting. But NASA has officially flown a rotor-like drone, a drone essentially with the rotors, like kind of like a miniature helicopter type thing, on Mars.
Hell yeah!
And I think this is just like one step closer to us slowly being able to inhabit another planet. And I always thought that was a fucking sick idea. Like, it's definitely not going to happen in our lifetime, but I think it's just fucking cool to think about, you know?
Don't be hasty on that. I think you got a chance.
No chance. There's no way. Well, what's it called? Didn't we one time talk about how much it cost for somebody to fly up to Mars?
I don't think we did.
No, you know what you're thinking of? I think it actually could have been the news segment that we did with Elon Musk putting people in space and shit.
Yeah, but it was to the moon or something, I think. There's like sort of like commercial flights into space, and it was like what they were saying 200,000. I think.
Oh, we were talking
like
space hotel. Space hotel is what we were talking.
That's what it was. Yeah. But like, dude, like honestly, like if you would like, put a price on it, like sending somebody to Mars, like if they put like 500,000 or like $1 million, I think there's rich enough people who'd go there and they just like try to populate it for whatever reason.
No chance, dude. No chance.
Well, I know we wouldn't do it because we're not financially stable enough for that. But I mean, like, there's people with millions upon millions upon billions of dollars.
If the world just presented this bag of money and they're like, we're as the Earth, we're going to pay you to go. Someone's going. Like someone will be and it's not even like, hey, go there and we have everything set up for you. It's like, hey, go there, see if you can survive. Like that's pretty much what it would be. Someone's doing it. Someone's fucked up enough.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen the movie The Martian with Matt Damon?
Yes.
Okay. Do you guys remember? And I'm not confirming that. Obviously, this is a statistic, but they literally took 2 years to get from Earth to Mars. Just travel time. They haven't even gotten there yet. Now, I'm not sure how long it actually takes to get to this planet, but it sure as shit. Like, I'm pretty sure it takes a week to get to the moon. Like,
I believe it.
You don't just pop into space and you're there. It takes a while. Like you're far. Like you're really far. So Mars is wild. Like the fact that NASA can do all this stuff is banana lands.
It takes about 3 days and 6 hours to get to the moon.
Wild. How long does it take to get to Mars?
1 second, please. Please hold. About 7 months.
7 months.
That's funny.
That's not bad. 7 months.
Wild. That's wild.
Wait till they figure out some fucking premium gas for that shit and we cut it down to 5, dude.
Yeah.
Now we're cooking.
I wonder if a big part of that is just because you're like coasting through space or what? I guess you kind of have to line up the trajectory in a bit of a different way.
I don't know, dude.
Wouldn't that be something if you're like 10% of the way there, like, hey, mission abort, your trajectory's fucked.
Yeah.
So
you guys are actually going to go round Mars and come back, and then we're going to try relaunching and see how that goes the second time around.
Yeah. The guy's like, hey, dude, I did my calculations wrong. That was a 6, not a 9. My bad.
Yeah. Same number, just upside down. Little confusing.
My bad. Brain was fried. Okay. I'm going next. My internet story is it's something I'm passionate about. It's the Twitch hot tubbers. They're coming under fire here, guys. Some of the biggest streamers on Twitch, they're pissed off because of these people that are just shortcutting the system. They have no passion for gaming, and they're just out here. People literally, have I told you guys? I've talked to Ralph about this. Josh, have I told you what people do?
No.
Okay, so it's like literally, it's like very sexy women, or just like women. Doesn't have to be sexy. They literally buy an indoor hot tub, or just like an inflatable hot tub.
It's not even an indoor hot tub. It's an inflatable kiddie pool, dude.
Yeah, it's an inflatable hot tub. They are a thing. I've been in one before, but they literally put it smack dab. They put it smack dab in the middle of their living room, and like they just put on a bikini and start like doing a Twitch stream, and they do things.
Floaties.
Yeah, they pretty much do things where like, hey, if you sub, which is like paying for a subscription, like pay $5 to the channel, I'll like write your name on things, or like I'll mention your name, or it's like. It's basically it's like softcore porn on Twitch.
So all they're doing is they are making Pornhub great again because it got shut down originally. That's literally what they're doing.
Yes.
Dude, I was also, so after you sent me one of those links, Elijah, it's now permanently on my recommended Twitch channels. So thank you so much for that. I think there was somebody doing that, but just while doing ASMR. At the exact same time, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
See, I've seen the ASMR ones too, and I'm kind of like, all right, like I'm not as judgy on that one. That one kind of seems like a niche therapy, where it's like some people go to a doctor, some people see a counselor, some people go onto Twitch and listen to ASMR. That's totally fine.
True.
But I was reading an article and I saw there's some big streamers up in the Twitch community that are not happy. They are fucking choked because these people are like.
Yeah, they get like 15K viewers per person.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And they make good money just like I can't imagine what happens when you turn the camera off. You're like, all right, well, fuck. Do I turn this hot tub off? What do I do? Do I drain it? Like, now you just got this giant hot tub in your living room.
Do you leave it till tomorrow?
How annoying is that? I think once we've talked about this is a stipulation for a lot of our good ideas. Once we can get together, Josh, can you measure just how much space you have in front of your couch?
It's funny that you say this. I've seen guys doing it. It doesn't work the same.
I don't know. There was
a guy who used to follow on YouTube, and he was like really, really popular on YouTube. And he started a Twitch channel. And then I think they did an episode where they did the exact same thing. It was him and two of his buddies just hanging out in a hot tub answering questions, do the exact same bullshit. And these guys maybe had like 1,000 viewers only. And this is for a guy with a big channel already.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
just not the same, dude.
Sex sells, dude.
Sex does sell, man. And when
not
you have
our kind of sex, but other kinds of sex.
Dude,
Yeah.
there has to be a community of women that love milk bags for money. There has
Dad bods.
Yeah, dude.
The Dad bod pod. Oh, coined that real quick.
Oh shit. Trademark.
Oh, damn it. Damn it.
Dad bod pod.
Dad bod.
Dad bod pod. Fuck.
Oh, wait,
Dude.
write that down. We're talking about
Write that down. Write that down.
and actually Google that podcast and see if anyone actually has it.
Yeah. I could see
Anyway.
it being taken already. I'm
Yeah, it is.
pessimistic about it. Yeah.
It
Fuck
is?
the losers.
Tough luck. The Dad bod pod. No
Tough
free
luck.
ads.
Scums.
All right, no free ads. Fuck
Yeah.
you, Dad bod.
It's a fucking workout podcast. That's ironic.
Oh, what losers, dude. If they
Helps
actually
people-
work out, we should bring them on.
Helps
Yeah,
people
we'll
redefine their
talk
dad
about-
bods.
about workouts.
Yeah.
All right, boys. My internet.
Lay it on me.
And again, this is going to be coming on like a somber note or just kind of like a fucked up one.
Oh, fuck.
So, last couple episodes ago, I think I talked about Whoa Vicky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard what's been happening with Lil Tay?
No, I saw something and I couldn't read it. It
like
fucking disappeared.
Custody deals or something like that amongst her parents, right?
Dude, I read into this story
Yeah.
and I don't know how I should feel. So
Really?
basically what's happening is, for people that don't know, Lil Tay, Whoa Vicky, and the fucking Catch Me Outside girl are just a bunch of trash bag people. They're trash bag kids that essentially make millions of dollars just making fucked up videos and like flexing on everyone, and they're basically better than us in every single way, financially at least.
Yes.
Anyways, so now Lil Tay's, I think the girl is 9 years old. She's young, like she is not. She's maybe 13, not really sure.
11 years old.
So now it's been put out to the media and the public that apparently her dad and her stepmom are like very abusive towards her and have been stealing essentially all of her money because she's a kid and she doesn't actually have a bank account in her name because she's not old enough. Like she's not illegal. Like she still has a
She's
parent
9.
or guardian.
She has 2 million followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And when you look on her Instagram, because I started following her after I read the story, and it is pictures of like her like bruised and shit. And it's apparently her Instagram is now ran by her brother, who is, accusing his parent or his dad and his girlfriend of like exploiting her and trying to get custody so they can get all of her money. So it's really fucked up and it's really sad in a way, because I used to think, I'm like, fuck, Lil Tay hasn't made, girl makes, thousands of dollars a day and she's just a spoiled little brat. And then you read this, and whether or not it's true or not, or whose side you fall on, it's just, it's nuts. And now apparently there's a GoFundMe for $250,000 for Lil Tay. I don't know what it's for, but apparently people are saying it's a scam because it's being ran by like the family. Yeah. So they're saying like, all this is just a giant hoax and they're just trying to get money now. Like they're even trying to exploit her even more by lying about what's happening, how there's kind of two sides, like brother protecting her sister and the parents are big bad people, when really Lil Tay is actually still being abused and they're dividing up their family trying to get money. So I don't know. No idea what's happening with it, but it's actually kind of sketch, to be honest.
Dude, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
And you think, how all these little kids get famous and shit, and you think it, oh, they're so rich and all that, but dude, look at who's the defenseman for the Blue Jackets, Elijah? The one that his parents bankrupt him.
Oh, that's Jack Johnson. Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Yeah.
All of his money's in his parents' name, which I thought was actually a dumb idea because this guy's a grown-ass man. He's like 27 years old. However, nonetheless, it's like this kid has no power. And I think it's so fucked up.
It's insane. It's insane.
Anyway.
I would say the weird thing about childhood or child superstars, especially nowadays where it's not you're a child superstar because of TLC. You're a child superstar because of like TikTok or Instagram or something like that, which is like 10 times more toxic than TLC. It's almost, I'm finding it seems to be a guarantee that if you're any kind of famous there for having like a brash personality or just like, you know, being like Lil Tay, where you're kind of, I don't know how to describe it. You're just like very out there. It usually means your parents are pretty fucked. Like I have the same reaction you do. You kind of look at them and you're like,
upbringing.
Yeah, you're like cringe, pisses me off. Like I don't like watching it. It's kind of annoying. It's what I don't like. But then you get that sad note because you're like, dude, if this is the way you are at 9, there's a fucking reason for it. And it's because your dad's junked. And your mom, I don't know where your mom is. Like things like that. And it's almost a guarantee with these kids.
And even when you think about you know, the Catch Me Outside girl, Danielle Bregoli, dude, there's a reason why she was on Dr. Phil. Everything else was a byproduct of her having a fucked up child. Like, you go on Dr. Phil when you're fucked up. If you're on that show, there's something wrong. And the fact that she got famous from it, like, is so, it's wild to me. And even when you think about even celebrities that got famous when they were young, like, dude, Justin Bieber did not talk to his mom for like 4 years.
Yeah.
Because he was a shithead. Like, he was doing drugs. He was a bratty kid that thought he was sick when he was 16 to 20 years old, as most teenage boys are, you know. It's Hollywood, and it's just like that life just fucks with these kids' minds because they're still developing in those years.
Yeah. Well, and like how even if you were a normal parent, dude, like I'm trying to think of like the D'Amelios, the TikTok people, and like they're not cringy, like, or they're not like the same as Lil Tay or those people. But they're the same in the sense, like tons of money by the time you're like 16. As a parent, I wouldn't know what the fuck to do. I wouldn't know what the fuck to do with it as a parent. I'd be like, dude, I don't want my kid to have this much money. I don't want any of us to have this much money right now. This is crazy.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, what do you do? Because then if you start taking their money, all of a sudden you're one of those parents, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's the old saying, money changes people, whether you like it or not, for good or for worse. You know, it changes you.
Agreed.
So, anyway, that's
crazy.
my story. I just thought it was kind of fucked up and pretty sad when you kind of, you know, we all make fun of this type of shit, and then like this stuff happens, and you're like, wow, these people are kind of fucked up, and it's not all, you know, LA sunsets and shit in the Hollywood Hills. So.
Yeah, it ain't all sunshine and rainbows, that's for sure with these people.
Yeah.
Anyways, episode 40, that's in the books right now. I'm gonna get to editing this episode. I'm gonna throw on the clap sync, and
you're editing it.
Yeah, sick. I'm gonna. You know what I'll do, Raph? I will edit the first part. No. I'll make sure. Yeah, I'll edit that first part. I'll fix it up for you. I'll send it over.
No.
Beautiful file coming your way. Episode 40, DraftKings promo code THPN at sign up. I got a hiccup. That really will help the boys out. So you know what to do, folks. We'll see you on Tuesday.
See you,
or
boys.
Thursday for the podcast listeners. Bye.
Ciao for now.